Hi, welcome once again to M3 Talk series, and as I said earlier in my earlier videos that the lockdown period had given me a lot of scope to read a lot of books, and this is one such book which I was reading. This book was published in 2002. It's called The Elephant Paradigm by Gurcharan Das, who was the ex-CEO of Procter & Gamble and later became a consultant for different industries as well as government. So the book Elephant Paradigm talks about India's wrestling with change, and this book is almost 20 years old now and we are in 2022. Are we still wrestling with change? I'm sure we are, and what Gurcharan Das writes here is something which is very interesting, that India may not roar as the Asian tigers, but slow and steady like a wise elephant. That's what he calls the elephant paradigm. There's a very interesting chapter in this book which is about laptops and meditation. So I'm just going to quote one of the Emerson words here, which talks about the change which we go through, and in the 3 M's we have meditation, and that's what draws me to this chapter. It says, "To the poet, to the philosopher, to the saint, all things are friendly and sacred. All events profitable, all days holy, all men divine." This was one of the essays of Emerson from 1841. We are going through a lot of chaos. We are going through a lot of change. Everything around us is changing in a fraction of a second. It's like Usain Bolt running his 100 meters, and we are also somewhat in our own 100 meters. So let us pause for a while. Let us step back and let us see what are we trying to achieve. The word achievement may have different meanings for different people, but life is a journey. And as I said earlier as well, life is a journey, enjoy the journey. And when you are in this journey, you meet a lot of people. So be open to meeting people. Keep your communication open. Try to ask questions, which is very, very important. And in Elephant Paradigm, it's only asks questions about this change which is India is going through in the new century. And we are only 22 years old in this century. And believe me, we are going through now is going to give us what we are going to get in another 10 years' time. And the biggest advantage of India is in the 75th year. India is having the largest young population in the world. In the age group of 25 to 35, India is the largest population in the world, and that is what our advantage is. And I'm very hopeful as an executive mentor, as a leadership coach, that there are avenues where people can transform themselves to become a better human on all aspects of life, whether it is career, whether it is business, whether it is relationship, because all these things are very important when you move ahead in life. There is not one thing which drives you. You might have a goal which says that you want to achieve X amount of revenue for your company, but if you don't take care of your people in order to get that revenue, it is not possible for you to get that revenue. So as Bill Gates says, that if you take care of your people, the people take care of your business. So it's a very important thing. The word people is very important in today's business. It's all the more important in the last 2 years. It has become all the more important, where companies have kind of faced challenges with the work from home, where people have been working from home, and now that everything is normal back again, people are coming back to office. There is a resistance to that as well, and it's very difficult to engage the employees also. Those who were already used to a work from home culture, and again calling them back to the office. But that's, I think, is one of the biggest challenges, and all the big companies have gone to reinvent their whole process, where they are going to even talking about 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week. There was always a holiday on Saturday, but people also used to work on Saturdays. Even banks, they were open on 2nd and 4th Saturdays. But there is technology which is helping us to work from home as well. So there is a hybrid way of working which is happening. And the second P, which is very important along with people, is process. So we need to relook at our process. We need to relook at the things we used to do in a more basic way. I'll give you my example. I worked with 5 foreign banks starting from the last century, from the mid-90s, and I started with one of the pioneers of process in any foreign bank, which is Citibank. And talking about the process, even if the technology has helped us in changing a lot of process. Let us stick to the basics, basics like an audit, basic like an implementation, basic like asking questions. I think nowadays we ask very less questions, because if you ask questions, people tell you that, why don't you Google? Yes, I can Google, but if there is a question, if your new joinee is asking you a question, I think you should answer that instead of telling him or her that go to the website and check it, or go to the process manual and check it. Ultimately, it's about sharing knowledge. And knowledge is something, when we share it, it grows. Believe you me, in my whole career, I have seen that there is no end to learning. And every time I share my knowledge, right now I'm sharing something with you, and I'm going to remember it. And I've got a lot of things I learned from my audience as well, from my clients as well, a way of doing things. So there is always a change which is happening, and if we don't embrace the change, if we don't get ourselves attuned to it, and as again going back to the book which I was reading again, be like a wise elephant, not like a roaring tiger. You don't need to be aggressive all the time. There is something called assertiveness. You need to assert your position. You need to be slow and steady, take a pause. Just like a Formula 1 race, what happens in a F1 race, if you have seen it, the car goes around 4 or 5 times, it stops at a place which is called a pit stop, to change its tires, to check its brakes. We all need to do that for ourselves. We need to check ourselves, whether it's a health check, whether it's a mind check, whether it's a process check, whether it's a people check. We need to do all that, both self and people around you. For CEOs, obviously, this book is written by an ex-CEO, and everyone who's running their own shop, it is very important for you to ask questions. And even if a person is not encouraging your question, you might want to rephrase your question. That's another way of asking questions, art of asking questions. Because every time you ask a question, you will get that, new answer, which is going to give you the perspective to handle change. That's for today. I'll be back with more such videos, and I hope you're enjoying these. Thank you very much for giving your ear. See you soon. Stay safe.